Hey, it's Eagle, and today I have another mech strategy guide, this time for the Neo. The Neo is one of the most advanced mechs because of its difficulty to maneuver. It relies on speed and damage to get the job done, and is built to harass and annoy the enemy, while being able to sneakily kill all their units and get away safely. I'll go over abilities, units, pilots, items, parts, and overall gameplay, and I'll have section times in the description of this video. So let's jump right into the abilities. The first ability down here is Cloak. This is the Neo's main ability, and it allows you to cloak yourself while in the air or on the ground so you can't be seen by enemy mechs or units. It's triggered by holding the right mouse button while in the air or on the ground. If you're at low health behind enemy lines, you can just cloak and run away back to your outpost. It takes a lot of energy, so you have to level it up to the later levels if you want to cloak for a long time. This also makes missiles miss you, and you can also carry units like normal while cloaked. The second ability is the Stasis. This is the coolest Neo ability, and it stasises the enemy and units like a stasis mine would, so they have reduced damage, move speed, and mechs can't transform away. It lasts for 4 seconds. So you activate it while on the ground with middle mouse button, generally right when you transform so the mech can't fly away beforehand. The levels decrease your cooldown time. The third one here is just a passive armor ability that increases your armor, and you get more armor with more levels. This is good because the Neo is very papery mech, so it doesn't have a lot of armor. Fourth ability is a new ability. It's called Radar Disrupt, and it is activated while in air with the middle mouse button, like so, and it disrupts the enemy's minimap so they can't see anything for a few seconds. More levels give you less cooldown time and a longer disrupt, which is good because it takes a long time to reuse more than once. It's good if you're trying to do drops, or making a secret push, or even in Capture the Flag. This fifth ability is your ultimate in-game level 7 ability that is combined with your stasis ability to disrupt any enemy missiles coming towards you and redirects them back to the enemy. So it's good for stasising seekers or turrets because you won't die to enemy missiles coming towards you, and the extra levels increase the range, I believe, as well as the duration of the jamming. So it's not a great ability, but as you can see here, it just makes the missiles go away for a few seconds until you die. And then the last 3 generic abilities are your creeps, increase guardians, and increase your in-game level experience. Alright, so now we're going to talk about what units to bring with your Neo build. So obviously you're going to want a moneymaker and choice of your tank. I wouldn't bring armadillos because Neo can't carry 2 till level 7, so it'd be really hard to micro them. But you can if you want to. So any type of tank, any type of light unit for harass, because Neos need to harass a lot, and that's kind of their job. And then I brought the lighter support unit of the Patcher because it's easier to carry a Patcher and a tank at the same time because the Neo doesn't have a large carry capacity again. And then just any generic anti-air to deter any enemy mechs. And then any infantry. I brought the Assassin because it's kind of the Neo infantry. So I have one here, and you're like, wait, where? And it's actually right here. So as you can see, this little glistering Neo guy, he's an assassin, and he kind of looks just like me. So it's kind of cool. So what he does is he will go up and melee any units, but if he's far away first, he'll just sneak up on them. So he'll cloak and then strike right when he gets to the enemy units, so they can't shoot him from afar since he is a melee infantry. So that's kind of a cool infantry, but you can bring whatever infantry you want. And then this is where the Neo kind of gets specialized. So there's 2 main disposable units for the Neo, the Bomb and the Boomer. So they both do the same thing. They destroy clumps of units. But the Bomb, you can just carry a few and then just go over and bomb the enemy units. And with the boomer you can carry some and drop them, and then the boomers will explode and kill the enemy units. So those are one of the two. So you want to bring either bombs or boomers with your Neo build, and then the last slot that isn't filled with this unit can be your experimental slot to experiment with any units you want to bring yourself. Okay, now we can get into the nitty-gritty of the behind the scenes, where you see your parts, pilots, items, and stuff like that will help you enhance your gameplay so that you can play as efficiently as possible in your Neo. So first we'll start with our pilot. I have the Alien equipped because Alien is all about speed, just like the Neo, and it has very little negative effects. Now if you don't have Alien, or you don't want all that speed, you could try Natasha because she has speed and efficiency, but she loses some attack power. So if you want attack power, you could try Gabe because he has attack power with some airspeed but loses a little bit of efficiency. And then if you want some ground speed, try out Tycho because he is all about ground speed. And the Neo does a lot of work on the ground with strafing and killing units, so Tycho is a good pilot for Neo as well. So those are the 4 I would try out first. And then onto your items. So I have Inversion Higgs because basically the point of an item is to either try to negate the negative effects of your pilot or increase the positives. Now my Alien is all about speed, Inversion Higgs is all about speed, so I'm enhancing its abilities with my item. If you don't have Inversion Higgs or you don't want to use it, you could try Jingle Bells because it also gives airspeed, or you could also try the Chocolate Bunny because it gives damage resistance, so you can get a little more armor for your Neo. Those are 3 items I would choose. Guardian is pretty self-explanatory. Neo is about speed and attack power, and since there is no speed Guardian, we do the attack power Guardian, which is the Blaster Guardian. You don't really need Energy Guardian unless you're doing a lot of cloaking. Radar Guardian is not really useful because the Neo moves so quickly it can get to anywhere before too much can happen that it can't see on its radar. And Repair Guardian, you are a paper mech, so the Repair Guardians wouldn't heal you fast enough, so I would go with the Repair Guardian. And now we move on to parts. So for your core, there's this interesting one, the Neo Cloak Core. So if you're really into cloaking, you could try this core, but it's only for this specific ability. And then, so if you're not a cloaker, you could do the Quick Charge Core. Personally, I like to have as much energy cap as possible, so I usually just do the generic core. And then for your engine, there's 2 choices. You can choose between energy efficiency and speed. So the blueprinted turbines gives energy efficiency with a little speed, and its only negatives are if you die. And then the advanced engine gives more airspeed and some ground speed, but it loses a little bit of flight energy efficiency. So you can choose between those 2. I'll choose the blueprinted turbines for now. And now the gun parts, this is kind of interesting. So you can go high attack power with your Neo, but you lose a lot of speed. So you could try this gun part and this part. So that'll give plus 10 guns attack power, but you will lose a lot of speed and other negative effects. So if you want a lot of attack power, you can. Personally, I prefer a little bit more speed than these allow you to have, so I will just keep those blank, but you can try it out if you want. Onto the structure parts, you don't really need extra armor because you're a papery mech with high damage, so this is kind of pointless. It kind of ruins the effect of a Neo, these armor parts. So I would recommend the ones I have equipped here. Alien Metal, which gives good stats, and you only negatives are if you die. And then Servos is good because it gives ground speed and transform speed, and you want transform speed because you're going to transform and stasis or transform and cloak away or whatever, so you want to do everything quickly with the Neo. And then if you don't have Servos or don't want it, you can also try the boosted actuators, which also give some transform speed. Onto special parts. I have equipped the efficiency chip because it gives transform speed and flight energy efficiency. It does have a lot of negatives, more than I would usually want with my parts, but since it's so specialized for the Neo, I decided to equip it anyways. And then I just have one of my 2 generic no little negative effect parts, which is inertial dampeners or the radar boosters. So that's what this is my basic part loadout for my Neo. And then also here you have your stasis coil, so if you're really into stasis blast, you could try out this part as well. So these are the parts I would choose for my Neo. Now we can get into some gameplay. There's not too many specifics I need to go into with the gameplay. You can kind of just play it like you would play any other mech. I'll just go over how I use the boomers and the bombs, and how I like upgrade my abilities as well. So what you want to do is kind of pick up some boomers, cloak, drop them, drop and stasis so that the enemy unit can't kill the boomers quickly, and then so the boomers can explode before the tanks can turn around and kill the boomers. So again, you just drop stasis and then they will explode that unit for you. And so I would strongly recommend strafing like this, so back and forth, so the enemy unit can't follow you around. So as you can see, the tank is missing sometimes because I'm moving quickly, so this is good for the Neo since it can move so quickly on the ground. So that's how I would go about killing tanks. And then for the, you really want the stasis and cloak ability, but the other abilities, you don't really need to upgrade them too much, so you don't need to waste a lot of money on your abilities. You really only need level 1 for both of these, at least in the early game until you get to late game. And then if you're not doing lots of secret drops, you don't even need this ability, but you will want the ultimate ability once you get to level 7, since that's just always good, since you won't die as much to missiles. And then you don't even need to really upgrade stasis. You could upgrade cloak again if you're doing lots of drops, so that you can kind of fly more while cloaked without having to lose all your energy. But you don't need to rely too heavily on your abilities. This is you just kind of play it like you normally would, while just going out and harassing a lot. So you can also, this mech is really good for killing moneymakers. So you could just drop you could drop 2 bombs or 2 boomers will also kill a moneymaker. And then so again, just like if you're killing a tank, you just drop stasis and shoot it, and then the boomers will go off, and the moneymaker will be dead before your enemy can respawn. And then also you want to stasis your enemies while on the ground so that they can't transform away, so that your units can kill them. Or if they try and walk off a cliff to avoid the stasis, you can just easily transform and then shoot them while they're on low health. So the Neo is really good for killing mechs that are on the ground because of its stasis as well. And then again, like I said earlier, if you're low on health, like if you're over here and you're about to die, you just cloak away and the missiles won't follow you, and you can outrun them easily in your Neo. And so again, you just kind of want to kill that mech by stasis. Alright, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you learned a few tips about how to play with the Neo, and be sure to try it out for yourself. It's one of the least used mechs these days, but its skills are underestimated, and you can shock the enemy with your speed and maneuverability. I hope I covered everything important about the Neo. Leave a comment if you think there's something important I left out. Be sure to check out my other tutorials and commentaries as well, specifically my other mech tutorial on the Angel. I worked hard on this video, so be sure to like, subscribe, refer me in-game if you're new, and download this awesome game of Airmech. See you later.